Hey everyone, Brittany here. So today I'm starting a new fermentation project and wanted to show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm using these apples and I'm going to make a batch of wild fermented hard cider. So the first step is to juice. Here is my apple stash. I have around 15 pounds and I'm trying to make 1 gallon of cider. Okay, so here is what we have. You can see this one here on the left is a lot clearer. The second jar I filled has a lot more sediment in it, probably just from the juicer. The juice still had a good amount of pulp in it, so what I've done is I've just taken and ran it through a colander. So I ended up with just shy of a gallon of fresh apple juice. I'm going to use this fabric here. And I'll put it over the top of both with a rubber band. And once or twice a day, I'm going to come in and vigorously stir this. In a couple of days, we should have visible signs of fermentation. So stay posted. It's day 3 and I'm beginning to see signs of fermentation. You can notice all the little bubbles forming. So this is a very good sign. You can see a few more bubbles on the inside here. And I will continue to stir each jar vigorously between like 2 to 4 times a day. Day 4. Morning of day 5. I'm going to rack these into a growler later today. It's the afternoon of day 5 and both jars are nice and active. So we're going to transfer the liquids from here into this 1 gallon growler. So we're just going to pour it through 2 colanders. So we didn't have enough to fill up the 1 gallon jar, so we're actually going to switch it to a ½ gallon because there's too much air space in here and you don't want that when it's fermenting. Just because we didn't pour the stuff with the dead yeast into it, so we had less liquid. So we'll go ahead and transfer that now. Poured off some of the hard cider in here to mix in sugar. So since we're doing ½ gallon, we're mixing in ½ cup of cane sugar. Look to see where the liquid crosses the markings. Write down the reading. This is your starting gravity.
There's a 40 and a 10.
So then with the sugar, it should be more, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says to write down the gravity. What is the gravity? Okay, so now we'll make sure that the sweet sugar cider is cool enough. Okay, we're at 82 degrees, so we're good to mix it in. This might be a little bit too full, but we're just gonna roll with it. Throw the airlock on top. Okay, so the next day checking in. You can see we got lots of active bubbling. And these 2 are hard ciders that I made with store-bought pasteurized apple juice, and I added commercial yeast into them. And I think it's really cool to see the color differences. So this one here, I've actually done a secondary fermentation with ginger in it. And then this one I'm gonna rack and do a secondary fermentation with those. Yeah, this is looking great. It's really working. It's been 13 days since I racked this into here, and we're still getting a lot of bubbling. The airlock is bubbling like twice every minute or so. Our cider has really lightened in color from where it was when we first started it. And I estimate it'll be another 2 weeks or so until it starts to slow down. It has been 28 days since I started my wild fermented hard cider. And you can see it's really slowed down at this point. I think it's pretty much ready to be siphoned off and consumed. It's been 24 days since I put it in this jar. It's very, very slowly still bubbling, but it's time for me to go ahead and rack it. So it's been 29 days since I first began this cider. I'm just going to transfer it into this other half-gallon jar right here. Okay, so here is my half-gallon of wild fermented hard cider. Now I just need to give it a taste. Oh wow, this is definitely the best one I've made so far. It's in flavor, it's way superior to the ones I added the actual commercial yeast to. It's like tart sour sort of, but kind of dry. I'm not a expert at describing flavors. But I will definitely drink this happily, and I'm just happy to report that, you know, it started with a bunch of apples, you juice them, and here at the end of it you can have a delicious homemade hard cider without buying any commercial yeast or anything like that. So I hope you guys give this a try. I'm very happy with these results. Now I have a half-gallon to drink and be merry. So cheers, you guys, and I hope you give this ferment a try.